Hello, my name is Lewis. I'm a nutritional balancing practitioner. If you'd like to send in any questions to my email, please email me Lewis, Lewis, at deephealingspace.com. All right, got a couple of questions here that have come through on email. The first question is, have you ever found a pill organizer that holds tons of supplements? Every night I have to open up every bottle. It gets annoying. So basically the best thing to do, in my experience, is to buy some of these baggies like this. You can buy them off eBay or off Amazon. If you just type in baggies, make sure you get a decent size. These are quite big actually. You can get smaller ones. I think that looks about 4 inches by 3 inches. But yeah, basically what you can do is you can line up all your supplements for the week, put them all in these baggies, and then you just carry them in your pocket or whatever. They're much better than like pill containers that you have to keep carrying around, and they're quite chunky. You can't put them in the pockets or anything like that. So that's the best way so far. I know Dr. Wilson recommends to do it that way as well. So but yeah, get some baggies off eBay or off Amazon, and that should be good. All right, next question. Hello, I would like to hear you talking about being in one's head / coming out of it, how it feels, what are the difficulties, and how to get there. I recently noticed that I use my mind a lot, like daydreaming, making up scenarios, planning situations. I guess the heart and the gut are there for making decisions, and the head is only there to interpret and order things after the event has happened, not before, like an overplanner. Being quite out of your head, do you feel most of the time? Are you in your body most of the time? Or do you engage in activities all the time, being fully present in what you are doing? I'm really curious on what life is like, on what a life like this looks like, as I and most people around me seem to be mostly in their heads. Okay, interesting question. So the first thing I would probably say is that a lot of people that are sick are just naturally in their heads. And a lot of it has got to do with like biochemical reasons, so things like copper toxicity, mercury toxicity, being in chronic fight or flight, being ungrounded, having traumatic experiences as a child. All of this will kind of naturally, it's kind of a two-way system. So the body kind of degrades, and that kind of makes you think more. It's a weird scenario because you can have a predisposition to think a lot. Maybe if you got brought up in a family whereby laziness wasn't a good thing to do, and you was constantly driving and doing. But then we live in this Western kind of lifestyle and diet whereby the body cannot kind of support the thinking, if that makes sense. So by having like weak adrenals, having an increase in copper toxicity, increase in mercury toxicity, all this kind of stuff, becoming ungrounded, your energy is kind of moving upwards. The body just makes the mind think even more. So you can get quite obsessed about this. And, I remember when I was sick and my body couldn't support my mind. I got into this mindset one time of being constantly obsessed with kind of being in the present. And, you read the book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, which is a great book. But yeah, I know you kind of get obsessed, kind of get this obsessive compulsive tendency, worrying about being in the present and stuff. And in reality, like, the main reason why you're not feeling kind of focused and present is because the body and the mind just isn't functioning properly on a biochemical level. So you need to detox and heal, etc., etc. But yeah, it is a two-way kind of system. So basically, like, what you want to be doing is you want to be doing the program, and the program will slowly rebuild the body, rebuild the mind, support the mind, detox, ground the body. So this is kind of physical stuff. So that's going to automatically kind of make the brain just work properly. So you're just naturally just more present. You're not worrying about the future, worrying about the past, overthinking things, because the body is working normally. And when the body works normally, it kind of wants to stay in the present. It's just how the body has been designed. Do you know what I mean? So the healthier that you are, the more you're able to be present in a given situation. But secondly, you know, you got the mental aspect of presence, which is, you know, like I say, if you are just have a personality to overthink various different reasons, you know, people that are more spiritually oriented, for example, they tend to think more. You know, if you've had childhood traumas, like I said, if you got brought up in an environment where lying around or being lazy or, you know, just not being very productive was kind of frowned upon, that kind of makes you an overthinker. Do you understand what I mean? But maybe if you got brought up in an environment where the body was supported and, you know, the brain was functioning properly and you was in a good environment, kind of, you know, in terms of toxins and stuff, and maybe in the future, like, you know, that mind, that natural inquisitive mind or whatever, you know, it wouldn't have been so, you wouldn't have been so kind of caught up in it and worrying about the present and the future and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you see where I'm coming from. Then you kind of got the spiritual side of things, you know. So people that are more spiritually orientated, that tend to question the world and ponder about the world and, you know, is the world right? Like, I'm definitely a more spiritually orientated person, and I've been in sympathetic dominance. I think a lot, you know, like a lot of my hair analysis tests throughout the years have been like me in sympathetic dominance. Like I found it really difficult. I found it really difficult to get out of it. And I don't worry about it necessarily anymore. It's just the way that, you know, I question everything. And in many ways, it's a great benefit of mine because it allows me to just really get to the truth about situations, you know. But again, it you know, my body's quite well supported now, so it's nowhere near an issue as what it used to be. You know, in the past, like my mind was just like a beehive. I could not switch it off. It was quite worrying on many levels. So I can see this kind of a bit of a unit in terms of thinking, in terms of presence. Now, another thing I should mention is that we live in the Western world. We're constantly surrounded by stress. We've got things to do. We've got to think about picking up the kids. We've got to think about this, we've got to think about that. We're not monks that live in a cave, you know. Eckhart Tolle is a great man, but, you know, you got to realize that a lot of these people that focus on the present and just focus on the present, they don't live in the Western world. You know, like, you know, they don't have to worry about the stuff that Western people have to worry about. Do you understand what I mean? So don't get caught up in oh, I've got to be present, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you want to think like that, then it's probably best if you go and live in Asia or in India and find an ashram and stay in there. Like, that's not to, like, put being present in a bad light, but in the Western world, you've got to kind of, it's healthy to think a little bit in the future and it's healthy to think a little bit in the past. But as you heal the body, heal the mind, heal traumas, come to terms with the world and your place within it, you'll tend to find that you'll naturally just be more present in situations. But you'll always think a little bit about the future. You'll always think a little bit about the past. You know, if you really want to go down the presence route, then living in the Western world is probably going to be very, very, very difficult, especially if you've got obligations and you've got work and you've got loads of different things to do. Like, it's a difficult thing to kind of do. So yeah, I mean, I've got to admit, not being in your head is nice. The thing that brings me into my head is when I start questioning stuff. So I'll be in a position where my life is quite calm and contented, and then I'll get a little bit more developed, a little bit more healthier, and I'll become a little bit more aware, and I'll realize that, oh my God, this friendship group or this relationship or this way of being doesn't feel right. And then I'll start thinking about the reasons why, and, you know, you can get a bit anxious, a bit worried and stuff. But in a way, it's a kind of springboard upwards to the next level, if you know where I'm coming from. All right, so that's answered your questions. Anyone else that's got any questions, please send them in on an email, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.